What'd you say?
Everybody quiet down!
Is that better?
It's Robert's rule.
Bill's in charge of Robert's rules, so we're okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Monday evening, November Memorial Democrats. It's wonderful to see everybody. Thank you so much for coming out. If everybody will stand, we'll do our pledge. To the flag,
United States, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thanks so much. So a show of hands, who's a guest tonight? Do we have any guests this evening? Awesome. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming out. How about new members? We have new members? If you haven't renewed your membership, when Anna gets here, you gotta go see her. So we'll start off this evening with introducing some of our candidates. I would like to start off, since we have a runoff going to be taking place in about 3 weeks. Do we have any 2023 runoff candidates tonight? Guess not. Okay. Guess that means we get to move to 2024. Floor's open. Just one at a time come out. Everybody gets a minute. Don't all come at once. 24. We have no 23.
Hey guys, so thank you so much. I'm Peter Filler, running for U.S. House Texas District 2, and I'm simply collecting petitions for it's basically called a petition little filing fee, which y'all know about. So I'm Peter Filler, running for U.S. House Texas District 2, and I'm the voice of reason. I call myself the voice of reason because I'm just that. I'm a reasonable person. And I'll be running against Dan Crenshaw, the voice of treason. That's my pitch, guys. No, but in all seriousness, I want to be on the Energy Committee because I've got 2 visions. First, vision number 1, Farms to Forest Initiative. So we'll take our abandoned farmland, we'll plant hybrid willow trees. In 7 years, we have a harvestable product we use to power our coal-fired power plants. Boom! So we've got beautiful, clean energy. And then my plan number 2 is actually a secret plan. Don't tell anybody. It's called Zero Point Energy. So I'm going to go up there, go on a fact-finding mission, get those blueprints, bring them here to Texas, back home with me, and actually have 0 point energy. So all of our electricity bills, like magic, boom, gone hardly anything. And everything we buy, hardly anything, like our prices will go down. So that's my pitch. I'm Peter Filler for U.S. House Texas District 2, and so just look for my name, March 5th, 2024, you'll see me. Peter Filler, you want to truly vote for Peter? Thanks, guys.
Anybody in District 2?
I already signed.
Nice to see you.
How you doing, man?
Come on up. However you want to do it. Come on up. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Larry, Democrat. It's good to see so many old friends. My name is Todd Litton. I'm excited. Thank you all. Senate District 15, the March 2024 ballot. And I'm running for Senate District 15 to go up to Austin and to tell Greg Abbott and Dan Patrick to get the hell out. Get the hell out of our bedrooms, get the hell out of our bathrooms, get the hell out of our doctor's offices, get the hell out of our schools and libraries. Get the hell out. That's what we need them to do. And I'm going up there to tell them, let's get to work. Let's get to work on the issues that matter to Texas families, right? In education, in healthcare, creating opportunity for every person to be able to thrive in our great state. That's what people want. And Father, going to tell us all, we all got to get the hell out and vote. All right, that's what we got to do. All right, we're going to do all 3 of those things in Senate District 15. And I need your support. And I need your vote. I've worked with you before in Texas too, a long time ago. I look forward to working with you again. Thank you all so much.
Alrighty, how are y'all feeling? Yeah, y'all remember me? I'm Marla. I work with Molly Cook for Texas Senate District 15. As y'all know, this is her 2nd time running, and y'all know we won the ballot by 40. Well, we didn't win the ballot, but we won 42% of the vote last year. And this year, what did we do? What did we do? What did we just do? We passed Prop B. Come on, y'all. We passed Prop B, and that was 65%. Exactly, John. And that was because of y'all, that was because of supporters like you, volunteers like y'all. And we really appreciate y'all. As y'all know, Molly right now, she's an ER nurse, she's a community organizer. She hasn't stopped running since last year. And part of why Prop B and this campaign is going to be so successful is because we're running a campaign to turn out voters, period, to really change the culture around voting, and to really bring out, I think, our volunteer leaders, our community members who have been pretty much kept in the shadows and ignored, not just in Austin, but also out here. So we're really excited to keep working with y'all and have your support. So thank you.
Sorry, be gentle. This is Jane's first time.
Yes. I didn't know I was going to have to talk when they got me to do this. I didn't say that part out loud, so just don't judge Karthik Sora based on me, okay? He is also running for Senate District 15. It sounds like he's in a great group of fine candidates, and so I'm proud to hear that in my great state of Texas. I'm a former Klein ISD teacher, so that platform really captured my attention initially with him. He is also a former HISD award-winning teacher. He helped 12 students, I believe it was, pass their AP Chem exams, and he taught at Edwards Academy, where 85% of the students are lower income, and he helped them get on a track to get into top-tier universities through grant programs. He established basically 2 foundations that help these students get grants, scholarships, mentors, internships, externships, and he's been on the battleground here in Texas for, he was helping Obama, so, and then a very active participant with Beto, so that's all I can muster right now. Thank you.
Do we have any other 2024 candidates? So we'll move into our program for this evening. I want to introduce Representative Jarvis Johnson. He's a native of Houston and has been a steadfast leader for North Houston and was first elected to serve District 139 in the Texas House in 2016, which includes Acres Homes, Independent Heights, Garden Oaks, Oak Forest, Greater Inwood, just to name a few. Rep. Johnson has championed foster care reforms, affordable housing policy, sickle cell disease care, and supported public education, teachers, and our retirees. Please join me in welcoming Rep. Johnson.
Good afternoon, good evening. Which one is it? Afternoon or evening? It's all the same, it's running into each other. I hope everybody's having a great time. It's certainly a pleasure to be here. Thank you for allowing me to come out. I'm coming out today just to bring you some information about the lunacy that's going on in the state of Texas at the state capitol. We're in our fourth session to try to pass legislation that nobody in this state wants, nobody in this state has asked for, and yet the governor and the lieutenant governor are constantly steadfast trying to push it. When the statistics have said, the polls have said, nobody wants vouchers. Nobody cares about vouchers. Vouchers are not going to help education. It's not going to make it more competitive, because guess what? They already have private schools and public schools working side by side. So you already have school choice. You get to go wherever you want to go when you want to go. You just can't go with my money. You can't use my money to go and further your educational needs. And so the governor has brought us back for the fourth time at the tune of about $5 million every time. So now we're up to $20 million in special session spending with nothing being done. But we get to watch the Republicans, and I guarantee you, I get my popcorn every time. Because they're at each other's throats right now, and it is more fun than you can actually believe, and I'm enjoying it. And believe me, when they finish, I go right behind them. I said, man, did you hear what he just said about you? I'm trying to egg it on. And you got to keep the pot stirred. But in all seriousness, we're watching even their own party are imploding and going against each other. They understand that they're losing because they want to keep holding on to the power. It's not about building a better Texas, because if you were building a better Texas, then you'll be a Democrat. Because that's what Democrats do. We build better taxes. We don't go point the finger at everybody. We don't go looking to pick fights when there's no necessary to pick fights. We come in to literally trying to provide opportunities for, number one, education. Let's deal with education. How, number one, the governor and Lieutenant Dan literally are holding hostage the raises for our retired teachers. You have held hostage the raises for our teachers, and yet you're saying you care about education. How can you care about education? You're holding pay raises hostage. So that's not true leadership. How can you hold it hostage because you're trying to pass a voucher bill, and in your own words, I'm going to fund education to a higher level now because Texas has a top-notch educational system. Do you understand? The hypocrisy and the contradiction is all there. So if you believed in public education, then guess what? You wouldn't be putting money into private education and then saying to every parent has the right to send their children to a place that's good. But if you're serious, then why are you making these vouchers available to children that are already in private school? Why are you making the vouchers available to the 600,000 students that are already being homeschooled? If you're serious, why are you making vouchers available to students that already are in A+ rated school districts? If you're serious about education, then why are you giving vouchers to kids that come from schools that are already exemplary schools? So if we're trying to help those that really need the help, then why are you giving all this money? To the point where we shut down vouchers. Finally, some Republicans came to their senses, and they were not going to follow vouchers. And so the Democrats and Republicans worked together. The governor then went back to the drawing table, and where he was giving $8,000 and had the audacity to come back and now make it $10,000. Now again, that's not enough for anybody to go to private school anyway. Because private schools in Texas cost far more than that. And when you look at some of the major metropolitan areas, it's $24,000 on average. Wow. And so who is this money truly going to? It's truly going to people who already have the resources and the means. And so you're literally taking billions of dollars out of the school system because you're trying to pass legislation based on your rich billionaire donors. Dunn, Wilkes, and Ferris. Those are the ones that are pushing this narrative. And I don't even know if they're pushing this narrative now simply because you always think billionaires always try to make more money. No, I think they're literally pushing this narrative to create the chaos that is happening in the state right now. Because I think chaos in the state bodes well for them and what their mission is. I don't know what that is yet. But I guarantee you, as Democrats, we have stood ground, we have stood and 10 toes down, we're fighting every single day. But it's most important that we have to learn how to fight, because I'm not going to compliment my Democratic colleagues too much right now, because I think we have to do more negotiating, and I think we have to come together a little more. For far too long, what we have done is we have allowed non-consequential bills that really don't mean anything. But every legislator want to go back to their district and say, look at the bills that I passed. And I remember being in my first session, I passed 9 bills, and boy, I went back to I said, I passed 9 bills. And in my second session, I got 7 bills passed. And then in my third session, I got 6 bills passed. So it keeps going down. And then here we are. In this session, I had 0 bills passed. And the reason why I had 0 bills passed was not because I chose not to pass bills, but because I chose not to allow my bills to be held hostage, or you use them as bargaining chips. Because what has happened in this state is that too many Democrats have allowed, because this is what politics is. This is about a negotiation. Life is a negotiation, business is a negotiation. You've got to learn how to negotiate. So it is horse trading. You got to give a little to get a little. But when you get back nothing, but we're giving everything, then that means that we are not fighting properly. Because we are allowing non-consequential bills. And I'm talking about bills where the first Tuesday of every September is hot dog month. You know, it's not what we need to be doing. But unfortunately, we are allowing these types of bills to be the bills that the governor and the lieutenant governor are holding over our head and holding us hostage. But I tell you, we stand ready, and we have always been ready. You have seen the fight in the Democrats, but we have to learn how to strategically fight. And that strategy is all coming together, making sure that we pick the bills that are most important, that will be most important for the base, for all of us. And the thing about Democrats is we don't pass bills that are for Democrats. That's the Republican man. They passed bills when they said, we're trying to make sure that education is fair for all Texans. No, it's not. You're trying to make sure that education is fair for your children. You're passing bills that's for your base. And that's why the hate continues and you continue to do what you do. So we have to make sure that we look at our bills and we're passing bills that Texans need. And from there, we have to use strategy and procedural methods to hold up every bill that they come across. And if we do that, then we stop their lunacy. We stop their idiocy. And I can sit here all day long and tell you, well, I'm gonna tell you what I can do. As a state representative, I've done A, B, C, and D, and I happen to believe that I've done well as a state representative because we're in a strong majority-led Republican body. But during this time, I have been able to bring home in excess of $100 million to District 139. I have been able to be named as a vice chair of Homeland Security and Public Safety Committees. I'm on a part of appropriations, so I do understand how to negotiate and work across the aisle. But I don't understand how to bend my back when it's not necessary, and that is what I have not done. I have not bent my back to Lieutenant Dan nor Emperor Abbott. That is exactly what they are. They want to be the emperors and the dictators of this state. And they have lied to their constituency long enough that their constituency believes them because they have refused to go and read. They refuse to be educated on what's really happening. Because the bills that are being passed in this state have not been good for this state. And unfortunately, if we continue to allow this, we will hurt this state and it will be an irreparable damage. They will give little nuggets here and there because we all got a property tax relief, yay! To what expense? Where did that money come from? It came from your school taxes. We had $38 billion this year in excess, in surplus. Will we have $38 billion?
No.
In 2 years, 4 years, 6 years? And so where does the money come from? So when the state does not send money back to your school districts, because that's what the state is supposed to do, then guess what? Then the school district has to raise the rates again, then the county, and so it continues to happen. So it sounds good. It's a great talking point up front, but it will be harmful in the very end. So you have to be careful. Whenever a Republican hands you a gift, always look at it. I look at that gift horse in the mouth every time. I do not accept gifts from Republicans at all. I don't believe anything you're telling me is true. So that's why it's important that we don't allow certain bills to be passed. And that's why strategically and procedurally, we have to learn how to fight. Tomorrow we'll be back down at the State House dealing with the border wall. Since 2016, I think we spent in excess of $10 billion. $10 billion. To do what? To do what? And now we're going to spend more money. More money. Another $1.5 billion we're going to be voting on, but there's no strategy on how we're going to build the wall. They don't even know what we're going to build the wall. I'm on appropriations and I haven't even seen the RFP. Who's going to build it? We've seen the commercial. You see how people go through that wall, over that wall, under that wall, but they like the wall. They like the wall because the orange man said he wants a wall. I like a wall. I like a great big wall. But that's all they do. So where we are in this session, this is again our fourth special session. We do have an opportunity, and I think we can stop the things that are happening. We absolutely will continue to fight to stop vouchers. We absolutely will stop. How will we do that? You guys have to help us because you have to be just as loud as the crazies that they bring to the State House. It's a very small minority of people who are literally driving the media to every single day put them on television, and now everybody's fearful of them, and now we're allowing, again, the Emperor and Lieutenant Dan to make decisions based on a very small, loud few people. And so we have to make sure that we show up and show out with them as well to determine we won't allow you to destroy our public education. We won't allow you to take away our own liberty that you so love all the time, freedom and liberty. But they take it away from us every single time. We've seen them what they've done. They've taken away women's ability to simply make a choice for your own body. But now here they come telling businesses that they can't make decisions what's in the best interest of their business. They continue to legislate against LGBT community for what reason? And then tell us that we'll stop pushing their legislation. We're not pushing legislation, we're defending people. In America, let's not treat and demonize Americans. But we do it every single time. So, as your state representative, I will continue to be that fighter. I will continue to strategically learn how to fight back. I'll give you 2 cases in point on how I strategically fight. Because it's very important. The importance of being experienced and knowing how to pass bills and get bills through the finish line is the most important thing that we must do. If you're going to have a leader that will lead, he has to know how to pass bills. He or she has to know how to pass bills, have to know how to legislate those bills, but also have to know how to fight. DEI, everybody heard of it? Mm-hmm. Governor Abbott said DEI is bad for Texas. Now, of course, you can try to educate Republicans all you want, but it's not going to work, right? Because they are not going to be educated. Being woefully and willfully ignorant is kind of how they get by. But they say DEI is bad for Texas. And then you simply say to Republicans, hey, look, you know, DEI is not a guarantee to tell people you got to hire this person. It is a welcoming mat to say to people that we believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's why you have subtitles on television, because people who may have been hearing impaired. That's why you have Braille, you know, everywhere. That's why we have elevators. And that's why we have wheelchair ramps, Governor. I wrote a bill, and I gave it to my staff, and I said, file the bill. They said, Lord, please don't make us do this. I said, no, because we have to show and teach the ignorant that the ignorance that they spew can be harmful to even themselves. Because even to Governor Abbott, DEI is helpful to you. Every building built in this state as a commercial building has to have a wheelchair ramp. And so when the governor said, everybody who wants a job in the state of Texas, especially at university, need to get there on their own merit. And I said, well, let's take away all wheelchair ramps. Now, Governor, get there on your own merit. You'll learn that stop being hateful, man. Stop being harmful, man. It's not necessary. You're placating to a base. You're playing to a base. But you yourself, you don't even see the hypocrisy that what you're doing. DEI helps you, but he certainly won't admit it. And so, of course, it fell on deaf ears, because they don't want to see the harm that they're doing to this state. And so I hope that you guys continue to be who you are, because it's not this group. This group is a great group. I know you vote every single time you go out there, you make those phone calls, but it's making sure that the others go with you, that they follow you, that they're with you. Because it's important that we learn how to pass bills and get bills and be able to stop these bills that are harmful to us. So with that being said, I'll put a pin there. I'm going to stop. But before I stop, I will tell you, it would be unfair if I don't give you the real good news, is that while I've been a state representative since 2016, I took the position that Mayor Sylvester Turner was in. He was in District 139. Now you have Senator Whitmire, who's gone on to be the mayor, and I, regardless of whether he wins or loses, I am too running for state senate, for Senate District 15. And I hope that I can count on your support. I hope that you will understand that while this may not be a popularity contest, and I don't believe in people voting for me because that's the name you know, I want your support based on the work that I've done. Because leadership is determined by what you have done and not what you're promising to do. We all got good ideas. We all got, and we see what happens across the aisle on the other side. The Republicans are going out and literally looking for inexperienced, unknowledgeable people to have as a part of their body, as a part of their membership. Why? So they can be puppeteered. So they can be puppeteered. Because when you don't know, then you don't realize they're pulling the wool over your eyes. And so I think that's why it's important that we don't lose a step. And that's why I'm running for Senate District 15. because I'm proven. It's not about, if you vote for me, I'll do this for you. If you vote for me, I'll do that for you. Let me tell you what I'm already doing. That's leadership. It's not about prowess. Because I tried that one time before when I was in college, and I said, you know, if you be my girlfriend, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not it don't work. Nobody wants to live on a promise. Everybody, because this is serious business. I joke a lot, but this is serious business. And if we're going to go and we're going to be serious about changing this state, let's be serious about bringing people to the State House and to the Senate and to our Congress and to our county commissioners and mayors and everything else, our city council, our school board members. We have to have people with experience that have demonstrated they know and have the ability to get a job done. They brought money back to their district, they passed laws, and they're moving in the right direction. They know how to work together. So with that being said, I certainly would appreciate your support. If you take a look at my website, you'll know where I'm at. I don't even know my website. My chief of staff is back there. What's my website, please? JarvisForTexas.com. JarvisForTexas.com. JARVIS, the number 4, or spelled out 4? I don't go look at myself. JarvisForTexas.com. So I hope you guys will see the work that we've already done and see the things that we're going to be doing. I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. Go to my website if you know anybody any families or senior citizens that are in need. We are giving out blankets, meals, socks, and a whole lot of other goodies for Thanksgiving and then for Christmas. Make sure if you can go on and sign up, and we'll have tons of things for people who may need, that you may know that need some things like that. So I'll stop right there. If any questions, thoughts, concerns, I'll be more than happy to take them. This is that. Yes. That's not fair, but I'll take it anyway, because you're still a constituent. I'm gonna change your mind too. So.
I was just wondering, because I know during the session, Democrats did a really great job of, I would say, neutralizing some really bad bills, right? Essentially, a lot of bills came out that they weren't really going to do anything. Is that something that we could maybe look to happen with vouchers? I mean, what kind of outcome can we look for? Is it going to be, maybe a 5th session, or what can we? I know you said that.
What's today's date?
November 13th.
I'm being serious. I don't believe that he'll call another session because the filing deadline, and then it's going to turn into Christmas. But right now he's just using it as leverage. He's using it as leverage against those to see who's going to vote right and who don't vote right. So he's being a bully, and he's saying you got to vote with me. If you don't, I'm gonna go get all my boys over here, and they're gonna give money to all of these people who don't have any experience, who don't know anything, but they're gonna listen to me, and that's what we're gonna do. And so you have a lot of moderates, and you have a lot of experienced people who are just scared out of their quaking in their own boots. And so the idea is, how can we stop it? Again, we have to hold on to our rural Republican colleagues. If we hold on to them, and if all the Democrats stand pat, we will be successful. But we have to make sure that we're putting forth. I say this all. What we have been doing for far too long is playing defense. And so when you play defense, and I analogize again to a boxer. If you go into the ring, if I'm sitting there and I block every punch you throw at me,
you lose.
Exactly. Because I'm not going to win because I didn't throw any punches. At some point, you got to throw punches. And that's why I believe in going to Lieutenant Dan and letting him know, you literally, right now, for this special session, this 4th special session, Lieutenant Dan has had a committee hearing he broke the rules and did not give adequate notice. Therefore, there was not any input, there was not any public input, and now they're going to shove it down our throats. That's what they're doing. This is what I call the Etch-a-Sketch Constitution. Everybody remember the Etch-a-Sketch? This is what the Republicans do every single day. They go and write the law, then they erase it, and then they start all over again. And the rules constantly, continuously change, and we can't allow that. And so, my pride comes in knowing my fight. I don't brag about it a lot, I don't talk about it a lot, but I will guarantee you go ask and you'll check the receipts. Is that when we broke quorum to stop the voting bill, that was because myself, my chief of staff, and 2 other members got together and started spreading the word, because I understood at that point, they're not listening. They are not listening. And if you're not listening, and if you're not going to even have dialogue with me, there's no point in having this. We shouldn't even be here. And so we took a procedure that we could use, and we left. Unfortunately, some came back.
Yep.
Which afforded the Republicans enough opportunity. And this is where I started with my conversation as to why we have to stay unified and be on one accord. We can't always be worried, oh God, my bill may not get passed. Oh my God, I may lose my my chair, or I may lose my little power. It's not what we're here for. Because if you're here for you as a representative or a senator or any, then you're not here for the people, because you're worried about just simply your own personal self. Yes.
It's a real question.
Hers is real.
No, don't.
No. I was just kidding. I got you.
So, a couple of things. Talking to voters, it's a 2-part question, really. I've seen you guys on the floor talking about what a bill means for hour upon hour upon hour, and a lot of y'all are attorneys. How are we supposed to translate these bills so that we can then communicate it to people? That's part 1. And part 2, what is your recommendation on telling people how to have the biggest impact in their little house with their 3 kids and their 2 jobs? What can they do to have the biggest impact on the legislature?
Number one, the first part, it's every legislator's responsibility to go back to their own districts. Make sure your district understands. I send out a newsletter twice a month, and sometimes once a week, especially during session. I constantly go through. We have 9,000 some odd bills that are filed. We vote on roughly, 1,500. How many bills we voted on this year? So roughly 1,500, 2,000 bills. We're voting on those bills. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And so you have to take the time to educate the people. So that's what it's all about. I wish I had that ability to go to every constituency group, but I make sure that I find my captains, and I make sure my captains are equipped with the information, so they go out. You have to stay in the community. You have to stay out there. And you have to break it down. If you ever walk away from me and going, what did Jarvis mean? You wasn't listening, because I tell you how it is. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. The second part, every family in this state, no matter who you are, obviously the most important thing you can do is to vote. It is to vote, to be educated about your vote. Don't give it away for free. And we can't give up the fight. Too many times that vote ain't gonna matter anyway. All that vote is not gonna matter anyway. And so we and this is what the Republicans' playbook is. This is why in the state of Texas that we have some of the lowest voting totals in the entire country, because the Republicans want it this way. Because and this is why I say Texas is, and it can be a blue state. It absolutely can be. But we are so busy listening and watching the news and watching the lunacy. And this is why the Republicans continue to be the loudmouths, and they continue to be the ones that are screaming. But at the end of the day, this is a blue state. We have just simply sat on our hands, and we have not done enough to get out there in the community. When the last election cycle we had, many of us didn't have opponents. And so that was an opportunity for you to kind of save some money and then kind of sit back and chill. But I campaigned as if I was still running. I went to the polls. I hung out with the constituency. I was going to, because I wanted people to know. And that's why when we look at the voting totals, my district, along with one other person's district, was the highest voting total in the city. Because I constantly continue to push people to get out to vote, regardless. It wasn't just voting for me. It was making sure that because I was unopposed, but I still campaigned, because I think that's the most important thing that we can do. Is again, because if you're there just for you, then you're not there to be a true leader. And that's why I thought it was important to constantly to go out there and keep working. Go ahead. He had his, but beauty before age. Go ahead.
Jarvis, I don't know how much, power you have, but most network of a lot of your constituents, all their constituents came in and they could not understand the amendments. They're written by lawyers for lawyers. They're not written for the lay. So when the Secretary of State came by, I sat her down and I said, you have got to change this. A lot of good that's going to do, but I'm hoping, okay? That you've got to be able to write it for lay people. And a lot of our people just can't even read. So you've got to make it as simple as possible for the average individual who goes out there to vote. I know you're frowning, I see you. But
Hell, because I didn't understand half of them. I had to read them 17 times. I had to go over and over and over again.
When we want to vote for the right things and we don't even understand it.
And God forbid you should translate it into Spanish, because then it's even worse.
They did it on purpose. Well, they always do that. That's the problem. All these things are
so I served on city council as well. And so the amendments and the propositions have always been the same way. It is, the law is written that way. I wish we could
translate
1 + 1 = 2. If we can make things just that simple.
But some franchising voters.
I agree with you 100. You're not getting a disagreement from me. Let the Democrats become the power base, because the reason why things are not happening in this state is because of the Republicans. Number one, they have led the House and the Senate for the last 26 years. They have held every statewide elected position in this state for the last 30 years. So at the end of the day, stop coming to me and telling me Democrats are the reason why Ken Paxton Ken Paxton's dumbass is the reason why Ken Paxton was indicted.
That's right.
They had nothing to do with that. Some sensible people said, no, Ken, you're wrong. You're wrong. But what we allowed a judge to be openly bribed. Openly bribed. Here's $3 million. Here's $1 million for you. Wink. And if all goes, and the $2 million is going to be a loan, but if it goes our way,
We'll forgive you.
what judge, he was the judge over the trial. And right after that, his words were, this was a shame. He said that. So if a judge goes into a trial already saying from the very beginning, your mind was already made up. Your mind was made up. You decided a long time ago you were going to exonerate him, and you were going to make sure you held all your minions accountable. You were going to make sure if they voted against him, what you were going to do. That's why sometimes you got to understand, when a bully comes in your pathway, you got to punch a bully in the mouth. And if you don't punch him in the mouth, he's going to keep. The bully going to beat the brakes off of you. I'm not saying he won't, but get in a fight with me, you're going to look like you've been in a fight. And I purposely, and I have made it a mission for the last couple of sessions, that my job is to hold you accountable. For every stupid thing you say, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to come after you for it. I'm going to attack you for it. And I'm going to make you defend it. And to the point where they're not going to want to